Welcome to Recently Logged, where we're discussing my second favorite John Cleese movie. Well, hello there.
Well, hello there.
No, Micah. No, Micah. We can't be singing Elvis songs on this episode.
Why not?
Because this is a Shrek episode, and that means we have to have
culture references.
That means we have to have an early 2000s soundtrack, not an Elvis soundtrack.
I know all the songs they use are early 2000s.
I mean, that's true, but that's the musical identity they're going for, Micah. I'm assuming by the fact that a lot of it sounds like early 2000s music.
Wow. Well, anyway, hi everyone.
Yeah, hello.
Welcome. Yeah, wait, you already said welcome.
I did say welcome
to Recently Logged. We're Recently Logged.
Indeed. I'm Robbie.
And I'm Micah.
And yeah,
we talk about movies.
And we're talking about we're doing like a series about Shrek movies.
Series. We've done a couple. We've done Harry Potter. We've done Mission Impossible. Right now we're doing Shrek,
which I think so far the best series we've done.
Honestly, probably
not in episode quality, but in movie quality.
Consistently so far. We haven't watched Shrek the Third or
we're
Shrek
only two
Forever
movies
After,
in.
Which I've heard not great things about both of them.
Yeah.
I do know some people who like Shrek Forever After, but I know like nobody who likes Shrek the Third. So,
but we're gonna be doing that sometime soon. So looking forward to that. But we don't have to worry about that for another couple of weeks, because this week we're talking about, so far, my favorite Shrek movie, Shrek 2.
And one of my favorite animated movies of all time.
Good. It's a good movie.
All right, do we want to get into the basic facts?
I believe we do.
All right. So, Shrek 2 is a 2004 movie.
Why couldn't it have been 2002, Micah?
Because 2004 is a significantly better year.
Wow.
It was rated PG. It's 93 minutes. Its little IMDb description is: Shrek and Fiona travel to the kingdom of Far, Far Away, where Fiona's parents are king and queen, to celebrate their marriage. When they arrive, they find that they're not as welcome as they thought they would be.
Oh.
Actually, I don't think Shrek thought he was going to be welcome. Its cast includes, the usual.
The three main people.
Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, but we also have Julie Andrews, Antonio Banderas, John Cleese, Jennifer Saunders, Rupert
Cleese.
Everett, I guess. He's there.
Bro, Jennifer Saunders.
Jennifer Saunders.
If this movie was just Jennifer Saunders and John Cleese, I would be happy.
It'd be pretty good, honestly. You're making me do something
I really don't want to do.
It's directed by Andrew Adamson, Kelly Asbury, and Conrad Vernon.
Conrad.
Commodore. Compost. Trying to remember all the names he uses. Wait, isn't that also a Mike Myers movie?
Yes. We are referencing the live action Cat in the Hat, which is also Mike Myers. Quite. I will also defend that movie as being quite good.
It was written by Andrew Adamson, Joe Stillman,
there's like
J.
6
David
writers.
Stim, David M. Weiss. Cody Cameron and Walt
Dom?
No, there's an H there.
Yeah, Dom.
There's an R in there.
What? Oh my gosh, there's an R.
Darn.
Oh, I thought it was just an M and not an R in.
Chris Miller, Dave P. Smith, Conrad Vernon,
oh my gosh,
Ted Elliott, Terry Rossio.
I don't think they really care who wrote the movie.
And Roger S.H. Shulman.
I don't think they really care, Micah.
It was nominated for 2 Oscars, which it was snubbed for.
What
Best achievement in music written for motion pictures.
Which, this thing has a banging score. I'm surprised it didn't win.
And best animated feature.
Although it was going up, once again, against The Incredibles for both.
The Incredibles has really, really good music and is just a really, really good movie.
Yeah. It should have just come out a year later or something, and then it would have had a shot.
But yeah, that's Shrek 2.
But yeah, that's me.
That's me.
Call me. We can talk more about it. But yes, let's go ahead and get into what we thought of Shrek 2, Micah. Our opening thoughts, Micah.
So, Robbie, what are your basic thoughts on Shrek 2?
Well, if I had to open my statement on what I think
and sum it up in a very basic way.
Oh my gosh. What would I say? I think Shrek 2 is one of the best animated sequels ever made. I don't think that's that bold of a statement, you know? Yeah. What's its competition? Toy Story 2? One of the greatest.
Toy Story 2 is really great.
I was about to say, like, a fantastic animated sequel. But yeah, no, it's really good. Especially compared to the first movie. It is a lot more solid in a lot of its pacing and story structure, where Shrek is a little shaky. Mm-hmm. The jokes are almost all funny. Like I laugh at almost every joke in this movie, which is not the same for like the OG Shrek, obviously, but like most of the jokes in that one are pretty funny too.
Yeah.
The cast is even better in this one, I would argue. The vocal performances are actually really amazing in this one too. Exactly. Which, I mean, they're great in the first movie, but I don't know. It feels so much grander in this one, just because you have even more like main characters, quote unquote, giving once again a great performance.
Yeah.
The music in this is outstanding. I already mentioned the soundtrack and the score. They're both really, really good, and the way they match up in sound is really great too, especially in a certain sequence. My God.
Yeah. We'll get to that sequence.
What else to say about it? I mean, the animation looks better than the last movie. The jokes are funnier. It's got a even bigger cast of characters to love. It expands the universe of like Shrek, Far, Far Away, that sort of thing in a really interesting way. And it feeds in retroactively to the first movie, adding some like it's kind of like a Monsters University, Monsters Inc. situation where like okay, well that's a worse example obviously of this, but it's the first one I could think of. Yeah, where like you're watching Monsters Inc. and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is they went to the university together.
The problem with the Monsters University, Monsters Inc. is Monsters University's background actually kind of messes up some of the universe.
Okay, well yes, it does kind of mess it up the universe, but like character wise, it's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, it feeds really well into the first movie. Like once you've watched Shrek 2, you'll want to go back and watch Shrek 1 again and be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Right, yeah. No.
But yeah, it's just really good. We'll get more into what I think of it later.
All right. Yeah.
What did you think of Shrek 2?
My basic thoughts, yeah. I think Shrek 2 is like a really, really good movie. I think it's interesting because it's quite a bit different from the first movie on almost all sides. Like, I mean it still is a Shrek movie, but under the like lens of a Shrek movie, it is extremely different. Like in its comedy style even.
That's true.
And the way it frames its characters, not in like a cinematography way, but in a story way. Like it's just very like the first Shrek is very small and very personal.
There's like three locations.
And its comedy is very small.
Yeah.
And this movie is very big.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot grander than the first one.
And, you know, I still think, like fundamentally they are both Shrek movies and they have like a billion similarities, but just in feel, I think the movies are extremely different. And honestly, I think I like this feel a lot. You miss a lot of like, because it's so much grander, you miss a lot of like the clever banter and stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think we mentioned while we were watching the first one, we were like, I didn't realize how much different the comedic like style is in the first one to the second one.
Yeah.
It's like in the first one, people are like telling jokes during the story.
Yeah.
In the second one, a lot more of the jokes are just written into the story.
Yeah, it's much different in that aspect from its jokes, but honestly,
Yeah.
I find this movie probably more funny.
I think I laugh more at this movie.
Like, there are so many iconic memes and jokes from the first Shrek movie.
There really are.
And there's just not as many in this one, but, like, it's still just so hilarious.
It's got the fairy godmother in it. You
like,
can't go wrong.
Yeah, just there's so much about this movie that's just really funny. I laughed so much while watching this movie. And then, like, I like it a lot better from a story standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to our last episode, I talk about that.
Shrek, yeah.
And they don't really do stuff like that in this one. I love the new character additions. Like, pretty much all of the new character additions are really great. The voice performances are amazing. That one sequence is brilliant, and we'll get to it. And
yes.
Like, I think just in almost every way, I would call this, like, for me personally, a step up from the first one. Soundtrack I like better. Animation looks better. I think the story is written better. There's more characters, and they're all still doing, like, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, I was about to say, the fact that they added more characters and it doesn't feel, like, bloated or anything.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
So, like, yeah. Shrek 2 is pretty darn good.
Shrek 2 is good. Controversial opinion.
Yeah, most people will agree with this, I found.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get into our main discussion now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Questions.
Alrighty. Well, I guess, do you have a question to kick us off?
Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
And you're not ready for the extremeness of this question.
Okay.
The true difficulty of this question.
Wait, you certainly are giving me time to prepare for the question.
This question will flummox even the greatest of philosophers.
Okay.
What's your favorite scene or sequence?
I feel like that's kind of like one of the easiest questions.
No, I know. For this
is
movie,
this is like one of the easiest movies to do that
this
with.
This movie like has an obvious choice
because like it like one of the sequences has gone down in history as
amazing and incredible.
One of the greatest,
best,
one of the all-time greatest. Yeah, it has to be what would you call that?
Holding out for a hero.
Holding out for a hero, the castle storming dance sequence.
And if you haven't seen Shrek 2 and you don't know what that is, A, go watch Shrek 2. But B, if you don't want to watch Shrek 2, just watch the sequence on YouTube. It's still good. Yeah, my answer is also holding out for a hero.
I was about to say, this is a weird question to open us up on because, like, it's such a well-staged, and I guess we can just start off by talking about it.
No,
it's such a well-staged and really well edited sequence
and really well set up, like so much build up to it.
And well staged. That's what I meant. Like well set up. Like the staging for that sequence is really good because it has such clearly established stakes. And all of what all of the characters want in the scene.
Right.
It just makes it really, really compelling to watch.
And like I actually get chills watching that scene every time.
Who doesn't get chills, Mike?
Like the cover of Holding Out for a Hero is literally so much better than any version of the song, even the original version of the song.
I don't know if I'd call it the Bonnie Tyler one.
No, but so much better.
It fits the movie a lot.
No,
better.
It's so much better than the original version of the song. Like, this is literally the greatest vocal performance ever.
Didn't know we had a Jennifer Saunders fan in our presence.
No, but like seriously, this scene is like it's paced so well.
Oh my gosh,
it's got a perfect mix of like the comedy that it has in it and like setting up its stakes and keeping with them at the same time.
It's a better staged, like, quote unquote action sequence than most Mission Impossible movies.
You've got payoffs for like most of the main characters in the scene, And
I was about to say even all of Shrek's buddies,
right?
get little moments in the final battle, so as it were, you know.
And then like if you draw the sequence all the way to like the very end,
That's good stuff.
if you qualify that, like it literally is just like the perfect payoff for the whole movie.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff, man. I feel like it's a pretty easy choice as favorite sequence.
Yeah. All right, do you have a question?
I do.
I have a squeaky chair.
Yeah. Well,
creaky chair.
I was about to say I got the squeaky chair. You got the creaky chair. Maybe we just need to get different chairs. What do you think of like the consistency between Shrek 1 and Shrek 2, like with the main characters? Do you feel like anything is different or
so? That's actually interesting.
It's an interesting question.
That's an interesting question because,
that I like to ask myself for sequels. Like, do the characters feel different in this one? They
do feel different, I would say. Like, specifically our main, like, buddies, Shrek and Donkey.
Shrek and Donkey, obviously.
They feel different. I don't think Fiona feels different in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Fiona feels about the same.
But, I don't know. The way they frame up and use, like, Shrek's character arc, he feels a whole lot less funny. He feels a lot more just like annoyed most of the movie.
Yeah, I was about to say he seems kind of like fish out of water, annoyed kind of character.
Like you lose a lot of like a lot of the lines that he has in the first movie that are so iconic and everything. And like even the stuff like, can't we just settle this over a pint? You wouldn't get a line like that in this movie because Shrek is just so much more, I guess, serious.
Yeah, he seems like it seems like marriage has changed.
Yeah,
he now seems a lot less joking, you know.
Yeah, he like the Farquaad jokes and like just random lines like that. This Shrek does not seem like he would be making those jokes.
Yeah, it doesn't seem much. He doesn't seem as quippy as Shrek 1 Shrek.
So while he still feels pretty consistent, like he still feels like Shrek. He feels like an older, jaded Shrek.
The jaded Shrek, the dark, gritty Shrek.
Whereas Donkey, because he doesn't really have any like good like because Shrek is the way Shrek is now, he doesn't really have any like ability to have his witty banter with Shrek, which is mostly what his character does in the first movie. He has comedy and it's just a lot different.
Yeah.
But I still think it's fine.
Yeah, it's still funny though.
Like, I just feel like they frame Donkey's character especially a lot different in this movie because, like, where in the first movie, he is very much like the man, I just lost the word I was looking for. The emotional tie-in with Shrek, like the first person Shrek opens up to. In this movie, he's just kind of there. And he's not even really the main side character for Shrek. It's really more Puss in Boots in this.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting to note because Shrek definitely feels different and Donkey feels different in this. But like I still think it feels like sort of a natural growth from the first one.
It's because like the characters do change a lot, and because, you know, Shrek gets married, there had to be change. They couldn't just still have like Donkey and Shrek be like two bachelors hitting it up.
Two bachelors in the
town. So no, it makes sense. It's just interesting. It is interesting that they do feel quite a bit different from their characters in Shrek.
Yeah. You don't see that often in kids' sequels.
Yeah. The characters definitely change a lot. Okay. But anyway, I have a question. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the setting of Far, Far Away?
Far, Far Away is pretty brilliant, actually. It allows like the screenwriters to do basically whatever they want. Like it gives them a reason to have all these fairy tale elements in the story.
Yeah.
Because like in the first one, the fairy tale creatures are just there because like they've been evicted or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But in Far, Far Away, they're just there, like for the story, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and it's interesting too that like in Far, Far Away, like it's fairy tale people, but it's all like humans.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Like, yeah, that's true. You don't really see any, like, fairy tale creatures in Far, Far Away.
Yeah.
which is a little odd.
It's like the celebrity.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah, obviously it's a play on
Yeah.
LA. But still, it's very interesting. Like, I don't know, it's a very interesting setting, and I know the rest of the series takes place there.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens in the third and fourth Shrek movie. Like, if they both stay in Far, Far Away, I don't know what's going to happen.
But I guess it makes sense, though, because like you said, the first Shrek had like 3 locations, and it wasn't going to be much interesting if it was just Fiona and Shrek in a swamp sitting there. just Fiona and Shrek in a swamp.
Yeah, no, I think the main concept for this movie, like meeting the parents kind of thing, is such a brilliant like progression of Shrek's character. Like, he would obviously that's the next thing that would have to happen in their relationship.
Right, yeah.
But it's so funny. It's so brilliantly put in there, man.
Yeah, and not only is that like brilliantly put in there, I love the way like that they tie it into the first one with the fairy godmother and everything.
Yes.
Like, because I know you mentioned in your opening thoughts or basic thoughts or whatever that it ties in and enhances the first movie a lot more. But it's really cool how it does it, because a lot of animated movie sequels, or really movie sequels in general, or just kind of like, they'll have a sequel.
It'll just be
have
like
the same characters,
like a tacked on.
It'll just be like a continuation. It won't really have, like, it could be completely different theme wise, and it could not really tie into the first one much at all.
Yeah.
Besides, like, the characters.
Yeah, it's the same characters.
But this one does something really cool, where not only does it expand on the themes of Shrek with, like, the loving yourself for who you are, it does a lot more with that, because it's so integral to the story of this one as well.
Yeah.
But also it ties in, like, with the Charming and the fairy godmother and Fiona's parents and Far, Far Away. All of that ties into the first movie in a way that gives it really cool depth, where when you watch the first movie, you're like, wow, that's like this. And, like, it was setting up this.
Yeah.
And it's just like a really interesting, I don't know, I think it's a really cool sequel. I don't even think, because while like you said, Toy Story 2, while it expands on the themes for sure,
and the universe,
I'm not really sure it does the whole, like, build the universe more for, like, the first movie.
I guess so. I don't know.
So I think that's interesting. Like, I can't think of a sequel that does the whole, like, adds cool depth to the first movie like Shrek 2 does.
Yeah, well, I mean, and also Shrek is kind of it's a pretty vague story, like, on the whole.
Honestly.
Yeah, like, a lot of the background details are pretty vague most of the time, because it opens like a fairy tale.
Yeah, and I still love how, like, Farquaad is just some random guy in the grand scheme of the Shrek universe.
For real, though.
He's just some guy who decided to rule a kingdom.
Or at least try.
Or at least try, yeah.
Yeah. Man, I kind of miss Farquaad, though.
Right.
He was a fun character.
He's funny.
He's funny.
I mean, the villain of this is like 10 times better.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
But still.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Next question. What do you think of Fairy Godmother as an antagonist for this movie?
She is a freaking great antagonist, because not only is, like, the character and the voice performance really, like, likable.
The vocal performance is so good.
But it also gives it this really cool platform to have, like, a play on the fairy godmother where, like, she thinks super highly. like throughout the entire movie, you have all of, like, the posters and pictures of her everywhere.
I love that. I love it so much.
And it's really funny, but, like, it's also, like, really cool for the character. And you have, like, this kind of manipulative, like, only sometimes steps into, like, her evil looking side of like fairy god. But I don't know, it's really cool how she kind of outsmarts everyone. I
was
guess.
about to
like,
say she feels very imposing in this movie.
Yeah, she's very much like pulling the strings of the sea, where like where Farquaad, like in the first movie, literally is only a threat as a ticking clock for Fiona and Shrek.
Yeah.
Like, fairy godmother is very integral.
She's a much more active villain than Farquaad.
She's literally actively trying to get rid of Shrek.
Bro, You know, one thing I have to mention.
What?
Of all of the assassins to hire to kill Shrek, he hired a freaking cat.
Hey, apparently he was the guy to go to. He just failed. I don't know.
Failed miserably, apparently.
It's kind of sad. Like that was one thing I was actually kind of sad about when they hired Puss in Boots, because I love Puss in Boots, but like he was hired to kill the ogre. But instead he just like kind of jumps on him and claws at him. Like he doesn't use his sword.
Yeah, like he doesn't use his sword at all.
And why?
I don't know, man.
Like, and it's just sad because like I feel like Puss in Boots could have taken him down, but they make it such a joke that he can't.
It's because he's such a tiny little cat, Micah.
He is a tiny little cat.
But he has such cute little boots.
He does have cute little boots. I love Puss in Boots, and but like I want to see him use his sword. I want more good like Puss in Boots content, and like I know they made a Puss in Boots movie, but I watched it and it was terrible.
I watched it and it sucked.
I just want more Puss in Boots content.
I will never not laugh at the insert shot of him cutting the pea onto the tree. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Honestly, like I just like almost everything about Puss in Boots in this movie I like and find
so
funny.
I was worried because I had seen like trailers and stuff for the Puss in Boots movie, and I thought that was like his debut into the Shrek universe. I had no idea he was in this the first time I watched it, and then I was like, wait a minute, Puss in Boots is in this? I'm like, this is gonna be garbage.
No, like it's
but
so
then
weird.
He's so good in this movie.
So like, and that's the thing with like Puss in Boots, because you know how like the Shrek movies are all like, it's like a fairy tale, but it's like, you know, it's like a weird like look at a fairy tale in a comedic way. Puss in Boots is just a fairy tale.
Dang.
Like literally just a straight up fairy tale.
Wow.
There's like some pop culture references, but it's still just a fairy tale and not a well written one.
Well, that's disappointing.
No, like yeah, it's really not good. And like the main side character sucks so much.
Who?
It's like Humpty Dumpty or whatever.
Oh yeah. That sounds lame.
No, it's just it's really bad.
I'm really interested in seeing what Shrek the Third it's Shrek the Third, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what it's going to be like. It has two fan-flippin-tastic animated movies under its belt so far, this franchise.
Yeah, but none of the none of the main writers, right, come over, right?
I don't think so, and I don't know if we lose, because only one of the directors that was on the first one is on Shrek 2. And I don't know how much of an overlap there is.
Yeah, so because Andrew Adamson is like the main
I was about to
guy
say.
for writing and directing.
Mm-hmm.
And
is he not on the third one?
He's not a director for the third one, which he is for the first two.
I was about to say that's so far been I think the biggest red flag.
But I'm curious if he writes Shrek the Third. I doubt it.
Well, anyway, while you're checking,
he writes Shrek Forever. He did help write Shrek the Third.
I was about to say, I can't imagine he like wouldn't. Oh my gosh, it still just popped up for Shrek the Third, and I don't know how I feel about life.
But
anymore.
Anyway, he didn't direct Shrek the Third, which is sad, and I don't think he was a main screenwriter. Yeah, it's just story by. He didn't even work on the screenplay.
Oh well, that's disappointing.
So yeah. Main guy did not really work on Shrek the Third in like the same way.
Okay. Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Do you have another question you want to throw into the arena, Micah? That's my question to you.
Ooh.
I feel like we make that joke every time.
What do you think of Prince Charming?
Prince Charming. You know, I actually wanted to bring him up. I'm glad you reminded me.
I'm glad you
because Prince Charming, they use him to open the movie, which, I mean, obviously,
which is genius.
Coming off the first one, you're obviously expecting Shrek to open it, because, I mean, he opened the first one. Why wouldn't he? It's still Shrek 2. Why wouldn't he be opening this one?
And then you get that beautiful weird voice.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, like, the casting for Prince Charming is so good. His voice.
Yeah.
I don't think I could take his voice for a whole movie, but like just the occasional lines he does, it's so good.
Into its scorching.
I think what to say about Prince Charming. He's a really interesting, like, because obviously it couldn't just be fairy godmother.
Yeah.
But I think it's really interesting how he plays into the story. Like, I don't know. What am I trying to say here? I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I think he's a really interesting inclusion story-wise because, like, I think he's actually well written in this.
Oh, no, definitely. I would say so.
Because, like, he's there and he's kind of such a joke, but they use him so sparingly that he's not like a tiresome joke.
Yeah.
And he can still add stakes to the movie through Fairy Godmother. So, like, when he's on screen, he's like this, like, joke of a guy, and he's really funny, honestly.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's actually really funny.
And, like, funny in a very different way from everybody else. So, like, you have this kind of, like, joke character, and you have him used in a clever way for the story to be able to happen even. And it just makes for, like, a very interesting side antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Something like a kind of character you wouldn't usually get.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to do any of the planning. Mm-hmm. He's just kind of there.
He just has to be his charming self.
Yeah, he has to be his quote-unquote charming self.
You know, it's interesting, like, opening Shrek 2 with him, because, like, obviously, we already stated before, you're expecting Shrek, but then you get
your expectations.
Wow, it's good because it subverts your expectations. Because that automatically equals good. Like, everyone knows that.
Like, all you have to do is subvert the expectations.
But it's just so interesting. Like, it really gets you invested. Like, it gets you interested in what Shrek 2 has to offer. Like, right off the bat, you're like, who is this guy? What the heck?
Yeah. Who is this guy? He's talking about Fiona. He's going through all of these locations. He's going to the tower, which we've seen before. And, like, you're like, oh my gosh, is this gonna, like, be, like, different?
I was about to say, you're wondering, like, did this happen before Shrek? Like, what's happening right now?
Is this, like, a different universe? What's going on? And then
parallel universe question mark.
Honeymoon
with who? It's a really
good opener.
Such a good opening sequence, man. It sets up the story not only thematically, but like, just the actual characters.
Up the universe.
Really well.
It sets up the characters. It sets up the themes.
It's good stuff.
Oh yeah. I was gonna ask you.
Okay.
What is your favorite, like, joke from the movie?
Oh man.
Like, joke character, joke.
What to
joke,
choose,
running
man.
gag.
There are so many good ones. You know? Maybe left field pick. I might have to go with the ugly stepsister. Dude, it's literally one of the funniest things.
One of the best characters in the whole movie.
One of the best characters in the entirety of Shrek 2. She's so funny, I swear.
Like I don't know who thought of that, but, like, especially getting Larry King to voice.
Oh my gosh.
But she's, like, hilarious.
10 of 10. I kid you not.
I hope even though like, Shrek the Third supposedly isn't very good, I really hope she's in Shrek the Third.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd cite that as, like, my favorite joke.
He's gorgeous.
The Mother Mary a talking horse.
Mother Mary
a talking horse. That joke's pretty funny. That's one that never fails to make me laugh out loud every time.
What about the tongue, like, the popping thing with Donkey?
Oh my gosh. That entire like, road trip sequence is so funny.
I saw a review for this saying that they really found, like, Donkey and that stuff really annoying. And I was like, what? It's so funny.
Oh my gosh. And the total lack of score the entire time. It's so funny, I swear. It's like the driest thing in the entire movie.
Like Shrek doesn't really usually have, like, dry humor like that, and it's so great.
Oh my gosh.
Donkey leans
I know that scene has become a meme, but like for good reason. It's such a funny scene.
Right? No, that's hilarious. I also like I find Puss in Boots like really funny
Oh my gosh.
throughout the course of this.
Puss in Boots, Micah, when he's flying through the air like in a starfish shape.
And I love
so
like
good.
there's this one moment where Shrek makes this really dumb joke, like the kind of jokes he would normally make in the first one. It was like one of the few times he actually made like he was like drop in
For a spell.
Get a spell. And like Puss in Boots does this laugh.
That laugh, man.
This laugh is the funniest
so
thing I've
funny.
ever heard.
The joke isn't even that funny, but oh my god.
This laugh is like literally just such an amazing laugh.
Bro,
I can't even begin to describe it.
Might actually cite as my favorite gag being the like Puss in Boots replacing Donkey as Shrek's animal sidekick.
Right.
That is so. I swear, all of the stuff involving that is so funny.
When he's sitting on his shoulder and talking to Shrek, he's like, "Really?" And he looks back at Donkey.
Already our minds are becoming one line is so
Already
good.
our minds are becoming one. No, I honestly would probably cite Puss in Boots as like what I think is like the funniest character, and then probably Fairy Godmother.
Yeah, I was about to say like honestly, Fairy Godmother would be so close.
Like, and it's weird because like in the first movie, it's very much Shrek and Donkey that are the funniest characters, and there's just not in this one. Like Donkey has some funny stuff for sure, but I wouldn't call him the funniest.
No,
character.
I was about to say they feel like real characters.
Yeah, real characters. I would call the funniest characters like Puss in Boots, Fairy Godmother, and I don't know, John
Harold,
Cleese.
probably.
Harold, yeah. I couldn't remember his name.
Oh my gosh.
But like the performance from John Cleese, like everything out of his mouth is hilarious.
It feels so good. Like this movie. I don't know what he was on.
Dude, if you watched like Over the Garden Wall, like his performance in that too is hilarious. Like I don't know, like he's just like
Man, he's such a good actor.
His voice, he's hilarious.
I did cite this as my second favorite John Cleese movie because Monty Python and the Holy Grail is my favorite John Cleese movie. Personally.
Yeah, I know. I'd probably say Monty Python is I don't know, is my favorite of these two.
Yeah, I was about to say it's my favorite, but
I don't know which one.
I don't know I don't know which one I'd call better. Oh my gosh, that would be so hard to pick.
Man, do you have any other questions? I feel like besides, I guess we could talk about the story, like comparatively to Shrek.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like in Shrek, I cite a lot of like my problems with Shrek being the whole like, Shrek misunderstands.
No.
He thinks Fiona hates him.
How could anyone love an ogre? Like,
Why? and then they have something similar. So like I know Robbie. I just said like so many times. Robbie and my mom were both like, I'm surprised you liked Shrek 2 so much. It has.
Well, no, I didn't say that. I said
I'm a misunderstanding.
I'm surprised that plot point didn't like upset you more. Is what I'm saying.
No, I don't. But like, they don't do it as like a misunderstanding plot, and that's what I think it works. I think it's a cool plot point too, because it's one of the few instances of like a quote unquote misunderstanding where like they're lying to a character, trying to trick a character. Mm-hmm. But like the whole time Fiona is not on board with this. Like if they would have had her be like, "Oh, Shrek," and like instantly like fall into his arms, but like he's Prince Charming, he's a joke.
Prince Charming is like the biggest joke to ever exist, I swear.
So like because Prince Charming is such a joke, it actually makes for something really funny and not really like funny. Annoying, where like Shrek is not like he can't make it there, but it's not like, oh no, this horrible thing has happened, because Fiona's like, yeah, Shrek.
Shrek.
Yeah. Like it's just such a joke, and like the whole time she obviously knows it's not actually Shrek. Like even if she like says like, yeah, it's Shrek.
What else is she gonna call it?
Like she obviously doesn't actually think it's Shrek, and like in the final scene, or at least like the big climactic scene, I think it's funny too. Like where Prince Charming keeps trying to kiss her and she keeps on doing like various things to get him to stop.
It's pretty good.
And like I think that plot point plays out so well and so nice and so clean comparatively
I was about to say,
to the first one.
It's a lot more satisfying of a story than the first one. I don't know. I do take problem like with misunderstanding plot lines. Like, yeah, they're annoying, but obviously not as severely as you do.
Yeah.
It is nice though to like see in this movie a misunderstanding plot line actually be like true to Fiona's character. You know?
Yeah, it's cause,
like she's not a freaking idiot.
That's the thing with most misunderstanding plot points is they're usually just people being stupid at each other.
Yeah.
Like they don't talk, so they like they'll hear something or they'll do something, and then they'll get mad at the other person, and that person's mad, and then you have like this whole instance, and it happens so many times in movies where like the
especially
main
kids
characters
movies
will just be like and then like split up.
I can't believe you'd say that about me.
It's like if it's
like
if,
High School Musical.
It's like if Diary of a Wimpy Kid was bad.
The movie?
Yeah, the movie.
Okay.
No, they have a character split up plot point that's like really really well written.
Wow.
But instead because like it's actually genuine in.
I was about to say it feels like
Diary
they've
of a
been
Wimpy
it
Kid.
feels like they've been outsmarted in this movie. Not
Yeah, and in this it feels like
not just like they're dumb and they've
yeah, it's not they just like overheard and they're like, I'm so angry. I'm not gonna actually talk like a smart person, and actually say like it bothers me so much in the first Shrek because if he would have just said like 5 things,
like literally,
she would have been like, wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I was about to say if he would have literally elaborated at all on what he was thinking, like she would have been like, what the heck are you talking about, Shrek?
What are you saying, Shrek? But instead he just like gets mad and storms off, and I'm like. So yeah, no, I think this is like a really genuinely well written movie, and I think it's really clever with how it plays off some of its more.
It's such a good
plot
screenplay.
points.
It's such a good screenplay. Like I cannot stress how good of a screenplay this.
I wish for some context, I gave this 4.5 stars. I wish I could give it 5 stars, but I can't. I don't know. I don't feel the 5 stars.
Yeah, no, I don't know if man, it's so tough too, because like, it's such a perfect sequel to Shrek.
Yeah, it's a brilliant sequel,
and it's so consistently funny, and it's such a smart screenplay. So many great characters. I just something feels like it's holding it back. I don't know.
For me, like. With a 5-star movie, quality-wise, they don't differ usually hardly at all from 4.5-star movies. But like 5-star movies are the ones that I feel are like special. I feel they're the tightest of the tight, and like just like they have some oomph behind them that not a lot of movies have.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is lacking that oomph, and I can't describe the oomph.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know I don't know what's missing here, because it seems like every element I remove and inspect, like be like, yeah, it's like this is functioning like perfectly in the story, or in the movie. Like I don't know, it's really funny, it's really smart. It's
missing a couple of drops of the genius juice.
Yeah, I don't know. Man.
Yeah, it's just something, and it's really hard to describe for movies that don't hit it. But like movies that do hit it, you just like know, you know. Like this is me anyway. Like when I watch a 5-star movie, I'm like, yeah,
5 stars.
That was a 5-star movie. Like I just feel I'm not like. Whereas like when I watch this, I'm like, yes, this is a really, really, really good movie. But I just can't, like, I don't know. Maybe it's something like small, like pacing and comedy. It's something like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's just so weird. But I can't give it 5 stars, not yet, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, and I started rating movies again.
Oh yeah.
Good times.
Honestly.
After my like 1-year hiatus of not rating anything.
Yeah.
But now I'm back.
He's back.
Wait, do you not want me rating stuff?
No, I want you rating stuff. But I just think it was kind of stupid that you did what you did.
Stupid. Wow. Okay. Well, it's my life, Micah.
But yeah, I think that pretty much sums up my thoughts on Shrek 2. Honestly, we could go into closing thoughts if you want to.
Yeah, sure. All right, so who should close their thoughts first, Micah?
I don't know. I feel like I've been talking a lot, so
right.
Take it away.
Shrek 2. Brilliant screenplay. Great score, great soundtrack, great cast. Surprisingly hilarious, like throughout the whole thing. A brilliant sequel to the first movie, which is brilliant in its own way. There's just not much wrong with it. It's really great. If you've never seen Shrek 2, I highly recommend you go see Shrek 2 is essentially what I'm trying to get at.
Even if you're not the biggest Shrek fan, like I said, its comedy style and its feel is so much different from Shrek.
Bro, even if you don't watch Shrek, this would still be a great movie.
I mean, I feel like you'd miss
some of the
story stuff.
Yeah,
there.
you'd miss some things.
Like, I don't even think they explain how Fiona is full ogre.
Yeah, no, they don't. But like, if you wanted to, you could just pop in on this movie and still have a great time. You know, is basically what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I don't know. Like, there's not much else I have to say about Shrek 2. It's just really fantastic.
That was the thing with this one. It's another one that's very hard to like do a whole podcast about.
I was about to say at least Shrek has a few like defining problems with it. Like this one, it doesn't
really have much problem.
Yeah, everything just kind of adds up. Like there's just a few minor things. Like Micah said, it just kind of lacks that oomph, pushing it to a 5-star.
Yeah,
but like, it's really good.
I don't know, maybe, and this is just a thought, maybe it's story drive. I feel like it doesn't have as much drive as it could have.
You might be right, actually, because, like, if Shrek wasn't, like really the only thing motivating Shrek is, like, Shrek, you know, like throughout a lot of this movie.
For, like, the first half of this movie, up until, like, the great scene at the end, there's no real fast-paced. There's no time to restraint to this.
Yeah,
it's just Shrek being Shrek, floating around.
I was about to say, I think once the spell happens, like once he drinks the happily ever after thing, that's when the story really kicks like into full gear.
But that's like halfway through the movie.
Yeah, I was about to say the full.
No, I think that's probably what's holding it back for me personally from 5 stars. Is I feel like it doesn't have as much story drive as it could or should.
Which, I mean, the stuff before that is really fun still.
No, it's still fun.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just missing.
That might be it. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, anyway, for me, Shrek 2 is an amazing movie. It's one of my favorite animated movies, and that's saying a lot because I really love animated movies. Like, I probably like animated movies more than live action movies.
Like, it's like pretty controversial, but I like animation.
No, I just really love animation. Usually 2D animation, but still. Like, it's so funny. I'll watch this way more than Shrek for multiple reasons. Funny, man. Like mainly the plot, because I think the plot's better.
I watched Shrek 2 for the plot.
The plot is Hot Shrek ripping.
Hot Shrek is the plot.
But yeah, like, I don't know, like, it's just so good. Like, the villain is so good. It adds so much to the universe. It expands so well on the themes. All of the characters are here better than ever. It introduces probably some of my favorite characters so far of the series. Yeah. It's just really, really good.
It's really good.
And yeah, I think maybe it's just missing a little bit of drive to hold it back from like a 5-star for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, once the sexy chauffeur Kyle comes in, it's a 5-star.
Kyle, bro, Kyle.
That's a pretty funny running gag too,
right? It's my man, Kyle. He knows what's up.
Bro, I swear, the fairy godmother song when she first comes in is so funny to me. Not to mention the sweatshop of mice inside the dresser.
This movie's hilarious.
It's really funny.
Yeah, go watch this movie, and if you don't, go watch the Holding Out for a Hero sequence. And if you've seen the movie, go watch the Holding Out for a Hero sequence.
It'll better your day.
It will. And
yeah.
That was Shrek 2.
That was Shrek 2. You wanna get into what we watched this week, Micah?
Nothing.
Our closing segment. We watched nothing this week.
I didn't really watch much. Welcome to the What We Watch segment. Here on Recently Logged,
Wow.
we talk about what we've recently logged.
Who'd
We
have
go
thought?
onto our Letterboxd profiles. We look at what our last movie was that we did on the podcast. and we
then
talk about briefly everything we've seen since then.
Well, mostly everything. In, like, some short films we skip over.
Anyway, Shrek was on the 29th.
Shrek, baby.
So we're starting on the 29th, and we watched a movie right after, like, whilst we were putting out Shrek.
I was about to say, while I was editing the Shrek episode last week, we watched The Penguins of Madagascar.
For the second time ever.
The 2014 feature-length film.
So, like, the show, Penguins of Madagascar, is literally one of the greatest animated television shows of all time. That's not an exaggeration.
No, it's not.
And I know, like you're like, oh, Madagascar, what a joke. But, like, Penguins of Madagascar is very different from Madagascar or this movie.
Bro,
even.
I swear the show's like a solid 8.
And it's literally so cleverly written.
So good, man.
I cannot suggest enough to go watch the show.
Yes,
that
go
being
watch
said,
the show.
The movie, kind of mid.
Bro, the movie is extremely mid. Extremely.
Like, it's still got some of the funness of the show. It's much more like the Madagascar movies than the Penguins of Madagascar show. You got not good Kowalski.
Oh my gosh, the fact that there's a different voice actor in the movies for Kowalski really messes me up.
Right? Like,
I don't like
Show Kowalski is hilarious.
Show Kowalski is one of the funniest, man. And then in this movie, he's just like...
Movie Kowalski is just not as funny. But yeah, like, I don't know. This movie is weird. It's not as funny as the show. It's not as clever as the show. It's interesting, too, because the problem, like, the whole conflict of Private not being appreciated isn't a problem in the show either.
Nope.
Because in the show, they literally have one episode where Private, like, just goes off doing his own thing for a thing, and, like, the team like,
crumbles.
dies.
Yeah. I was about to say, they deal with it a lot better in the show.
Like, Private is a very integral part of the team in the show. But they all are.
Yeah, we watched this. This is one of the few movies we saw, like, at a...
It was like a dine-in
like
theater.
a dine-in theater.
Like a fancy...
They had, like, the tray thing
you could
in
press
front
a
of
button
you.
and summon a waiter while watching a movie.
And this is the movie we watched in there.
And when did this come out?
2014.
We were young. We
were...
went to the stupid, really expensive
I hadn't
theater.
even seen any of the other Madagascar movies at this point.
And we watched this. We hadn't even watched the show.
No, we had seen the show by then.
No, I'm pretty sure we watched the show after this.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I could have sworn we watched it before. Well, either way, it doesn't really matter.
Maybe we did. I don't know. We watched the show growing up too, but we recently rewatched it and found it was the greatest thing ever.
It's actually great. But yeah, no, it's pretty mid.
I gave it 2.5 stars. It's still fun.
It's occasionally funny.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's just boring, though.
Yeah, pretty much. After that, though, we watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Heck yes, we did.
Another John Cleese movie.
My favorite John Cleese movie, if you remember correctly.
The second swallow savvy guy. I love that that's his top bill on Letterboxd.
That's so good, man. Yeah,
man, Monty Python.
We should do an episode on it.
It's hard. It's hard to break down Monty Python truly because there's so many layers of its genius.
It's like an onion, Micah.
It is like an onion. I don't know how, like, Monty Python, their acting troupe is so funny. Like I don't get it. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 writers on this, and it's all just the main cast.
This is my
because it's all just Monty Python.
third favorite comedy, I think, which is weird to say because, like, I adore Greener Grass and I love Mean Girls. Well, it actually might be my fourth because I really like Napoleon Dynamite too.
But yeah.
But this is up in that same tier. You know?
It's literally just never not funny.
Yeah.
Monty Python, they're so clever with their jokes. And
the editing in this movie is golden.
Is actually brilliant.
It's
and
so
I don't
good.
know why. But yeah, Monty Python, very, very good. I gave it 4.5 stars.
It just has such a great comedic timing to it, man. I would kill for this kind of comedic timing.
Dude, the editor of Monty Python is only edited, like, for this movie.
Nice. Bro, it's so funny.
Then I watched on the 30th, A Week Away.
A Week Away.
Which sucked.
Dang.
It was a Netflix original Christian camp movie.
Christian camp.
And
what does that even mean?
you know, church camp.
Church camp. So it was a movie about church camp?
Yeah, it was a Christian movie about church camp.
Okay.
About this edgy teen.
Whoa.
Who's broken the law one too many times.
Wait.
And his choice is either juvie or church camp.
Wait. What legal team decided that? They're like, you're either going to juvie or you're going to church camp.
No, there wasn't even any legal team. They're just like he stole a cop car in the movie. Like
Wait,
the opening of the movie. He stole an entire police
officer's car.
And they take him in and he's like, well, son, you're going to juvie. Nobody wants you. Not like, hey, you stole a cop car. Now you're going to juvie.
You broke the law. You're going to juvie.
They're like, nobody wants you, so you're going to juvie. And I don't think I've explained this well enough because it's also a musical, but it's the worst kind of musical. It's what's known as a jukebox musical.
Oh, no.
But it's the worst kind of jukebox musical because it's all really bad Christian songs that don't make any narrative sense.
Nice.
Like literally zero narrative sense. They'll break it. The opening... Like right after he gets sentenced to juvie or church camp from this random guy. They
dude.
break into like this Christian song and he's just like singing it and like all of these characters are singing it and I'm like, what? He's not a Christian yet. What is he doing? What's happening? What is going on in every song? Like the choreography is actually pretty good.
Like it's no, the choreography is actually pretty good.
And the actors, I mean, they're all like Disney Channel quality actors, but like they do a fine job. But like the story sucks and the songs suck. Man, it's really. I would not suggest it.
Well, I watched on the 30th a much better movie, apparently. I watched Sherlock Jr. for the first time. 1924, baby.
Ayo.
I believe my second Buster Keaton movie? Maybe my first one?
I was about to say, I don't think you've seen another one of his.
Yes, my first Buster Keaton movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joke.
And I absolutely adored it. Lots of great stuff. Really funny. Oh my gosh. I did not expect it to be so funny. It's got some amazing stunt work in it. Some like really surprisingly great special effects, especially for the 20s. Like what? Yeah, it's really good. It's my favorite silent film, I think. It's good stuff, man. You got to go watch it.
I don't know. What about The Artist, 2011?
What about it?
I don't know. You said you didn't qualify that as a silent film.
I don't know.
Because they cut in noise every once in a while.
Yeah, I was about to say, they use noise.
They cut in twice.
They still use noise. I don't know.
Anyway, then we went on some whack, like, not watching movie hiatus for, like, 4 days.
Well, I mean, it was, like, my birthday, and, like, we had a bunch of celebrations over the weekend for birthdays.
Yeah, I know, but we went from, like, the 30th, and there was the 31st, the 1st, the 2nd, and then the 3rd we finally watched something. I watched 3 movies, and none of the movies of which you watched.
Yeah, well, I guess you go over yours first.
Yeah, I won't take along with mine. Yeah. I watched The Yin Yang Master Dream of Eternity.
Yes.
Which is a Chinese
of course.
action like fantasy movie. And I did not expect much from this, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. It had some really cool features, like the story itself was like an interesting story. The world building was good. The visual effects were like really good, and I guess I shouldn't have like doubted it being a pretty high budget 2020 movie, but like I just didn't think about the fact that the like most movies that I watch that are random Netflix movies.
Most random foreign Netflix movies suck.
Yeah, especially on a VFX standpoint. But like the 2 main leads were really fun. I think they did a great job, but the story just is really poorly written. And like, yeah, the cinematography and story are really where it lacks. So I gave it 3 stars. It's fun. I may watch it again. I probably will never watch it again. It's really long. The final fight alone is 40 minutes.
Oh my gosh. What? 40 minutes?
No, it's ridiculous. We got to the final fight and I was like, oh, it'll probably be a quick fight, and then
like
a lot of wrap up. But it was like 10 minutes of wrap up and like just a ton of really just the same choreography.
Ugh.
But yeah, like it plays the first half of the movie as like a murder mystery kind of thing, and I don't know, it's just really
Don't make me watch it.
it's really not well written, but which is sad because a lot of the elements were really fun for it.
Well, there you go.
I give it 3 stars. Then I watched double feature style Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame.
Whoa.
Infinity War significantly better than Endgame.
Yes.
Endgame references Fortnite dabbing and Noob Master 69, so yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big achievement in film, but I really am not that
I was
big
about
of a
to say,
fan of Endgame.
It's a pretty monumental spot for the film industry, but outside of that,
I don't think it looks very good. I don't think it's as well written as Infinity War. It's just kind of pretty mediocre. Infinity War, I think, is probably my favorite Avengers movie.
yeah.
I think it keeps its stakes really clear. I think the twist at the end
It's good
was really good, especially watching in theaters the first time, and I still think it really works. So yeah, Infinity War has my endorsement. Endgame,
Yeah. On the 3rd, I watched, while you were watching both of those, I watched Autumn Sonata, my second Ingmar Bergman film, starring Ingrid Bergman, which is very confusing.
Ingmar and Ingrid.
Ingmar and Ingrid Bergman.
Whack.
Not related.
Not really. No relation.
Exactly. And I watched Autumn Sonata, which I believe that's like their only time they've worked together, but still. I had watched The Seventh Seal before this, which was really like it was a really good movie, like, but I didn't like it very much. Yeah, it was a very smart screenplay, really well shot, really well edited, but I just wasn't that big of a fan of it. Autumn Sonata, on the other hand, I absolutely adore. It's one of my favorite 70s movies. It's just such a freaking good movie, man. It's like a masterclass in dialogue, acting, blocking, and cinematography. It like takes place in one house, the entire movie.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like 5 characters in total, and it's brilliant, man.
I like
you
movies like that.
really need to watch it.
I probably will sometime.
It's like I said, it's like the 70s Swedish version of Lady Bird, essentially.
Also, for some context, with those 3 movies that I watched in one day, that was I think a little over 8 hours of movie in one day.
Ugh. Yikes, man.
So yeah, I was very movied out. So like we took like a 4-day hiatus from movies, and then I watched like so much movie.
And then the next day after the 3rd, when we apparently watched a bunch of movies, we watched La La Land.
La La Land.
Rewatch, baby.
Woot woot.
My 7th rewatch. Yes, I believe so. Yes, 7th. It's my favorite movie ever.
It's my favorite movie musical.
It's so freaking good.
It's literally amazing in every way. I don't know how it's your favorite freaking movie and you didn't give it 5 stars. It's literally a 5-star movie, Rebby.
I don't know, man. Like, I just don't see 5 stars for it.
He's like, oh, it's my favorite movie. I love it more than any other movie.
Rates it
4.5.
4.5.
Okay, this is why I stopped rating movies, Mike.
No, because you make no sense. Is that why?
Yes, that is why.
Most people when they watch a movie and they love it a bunch and it's really technically perfect and it also has amazing pacing, acting, cinematography, score, direction, acting. I already said that, but still, like every part of this movie is amazing besides maybe sound mixing.
No, the mixing's good. It's just really poor ADR, like in a lot of the outdoor stuff.
Yeah. But still, like, that's it.
I don't know. I don't see giving it 5 stars. I just don't see
You are ridiculous. I give
know.
it 5 stars. It's a really
I know,
great
it doesn't
movie.
make any sense, but I just don't see giving it 5 stars.
Go watch La La Land.
Yeah, no, in case, like, if you haven't seen any of my top 4 favorites, you should go watch all of them.
Damien Chazelle's, he's a master.
Bro, Damien Chazelle is my hero.
He's amazing. He just is.
He likes jazz.
He does like jazz. I love jazz.
Who doesn't love jazz?
Like, jazz is my favorite kind of music, and like Yeah, La La Land's got some darn good jazz. Like I said,
It's my favorite score.
It has
in any movie.
I was about to say it has my favorite movie score of any movie. It's my favorite movie musical of any movie, like all movies.
I feel like when you say musical, movies kind of imply.
Yeah, I know, and like it has some of my favorite production design of any movie.
It's so
this movie
good.
pops so freaking much, and it's just like. I can't
The
see not
cinematography
giving
is so
this
good.
5 stars. Like everything
Cinematography is so
about
good.
this movie is so electric.
I don't know. It's just lacking that certain something, you know? But I love
Anyway.
it. I adore it.
Anyway, enough bad opinions.
Enough bad opinion. What rates La La Land 9 out of 10? Bad opinion. It should have been 10 out of 10.
It's true.
Wow. Well, anyway, that's what we watched this week. Thanks for listening this far. If you do, I don't know how many people actually stay and listen to the
Right.
What We Watched segment.
I know our mom always complains that we go very long in the What We Watched
I don't know.
segment.
It's fun. I think it's fun.
No, I think it's a fun segment. But anyway, look forward for next week. We're doing maybe our first TV show. Question mark?
Well, I mean, WandaVision was a miniseries.
Oh, right. WandaVision. I forgot about that. Darn you, WandaVision. We're doing maybe our first animated TV show.
I was about to say, Spider-Man PS4 was our first video game we did, and it's essentially a movie.
Yeah, WandaVision was our
and
first
WandaVision
TV
was the
show.
first technical TV show we did. But this, if all goes according to plan, next week will be our first like TV show that
Yeah.
we've done.
One that's actually planning on having multiple seasons.
Yeah,
But I'm very excited about it
yeah.
because I very much like this TV show and Robbie hasn't seen it.
Indeed. I'll have to watch the whole thing over this next week.
It's only 10 hours, so it's fine.
Yeah,
We're fine.
it's only one season. But yeah, anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Have a good April.
Good April.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Oh yeah, Easter.